Fire signs. Let's start with the element itself. Whether you're in ancient Kemet, Egypt, and you're referring to Ra, or you're here on Turtle Island and you're calling it Abba Bini Lee, who is associated with the sun and ceremonial fire and the stomp dance for Native Indigenous people, no matter what you call it, whatever vernacular you're using, it's all the same sun, it's all the same source. The sun is a constant, never ending source of life and light, and is often seen as a manifestation of the divine itself in so many ancient traditions. Fire is the reflective of lightning and igniting the divine spark within us. Just as the sun's fire sustains life on earth, the inner flame of consciousness within us sustains our spiritual journey, guiding us towards enlightenment and unity with our direct connection to Source. It sustains life. It illuminates the darkness. It represents the eternal cycle of creation and destruction, which is why fire can be used for purification and rebirth. Fire's ability to purify is crucial to understanding its spiritual significance. It destroys what is no longer needed, clearing the way for new growth. It represents the process of letting go, releasing attachments and fears and outdated identities to embrace a new, higher state of being. It is a great purifier, the force that consumes the old and makes space for the new. Through its flames, we are cleansed of our past and reborn to a potential and ignited with the light of higher awareness, baptized in the fire and the flames. Fire can also be seen as the living energy of consciousness itself. Fire is often linked to the energy of life because it's called prana or chi or the kundalini energy in esoteric traditions. The rising of the kundalini is often depicted as a coiled serpent, the fire at the base of the spine, symbolizing the awakening of higher consciousness and spiritual evolution, constantly rising and seeking to evolve, constantly expanding. Fire's dynamic, ever-changing nature of a serpent, constantly moving, evolving, and seeking to expand outward, is the same as our consciousness is constantly seeking, moving, and seeking to expand. Fire can also be seen as a bridge between worlds. In many traditions, fire is seen as a bridge between the physical and spiritual realms. It is both a destroyer and a creator, a force that transcends duality and connects the material and the divine. And fire rituals such as lighting candles or bonfires are often used to evoke a spiritual presence, set intentions, and create a sacred space. When was the last time you created a sacred space by having a lit bubble bath? Create some sacred space for yourself and connect with these elements. Fire is a bridge between the seen and the unseen, the earthly and the divine. Through its light, we commune with the sacred and transcend the material world and align with the infinite of creation. In so many indigenous cultures, but especially here on Turtle Island, fire is seen as a sacred gift from the Creator, often brought to people through the bravery and ingenuity of animals or spirit animals. Cultural burnings of the land often maintain biodiversity by encouraging growth of desired plants or foods for use for other purposes, such as medicine, all while respecting the delicate balance of the land. This practice is deeply intertwined with our cultural and our spiritual beliefs. It was also a way to reduce and control wildfires. Without cultural burns, organic matter can build up, putting forests at risk for devastating, overwhelming wildfire. So let's start with the first fire sign, Aries, which represents the disciple Peter, which is ruled by the brain. And Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac, is also Peter, the first disciple to be called. Aries rules the brain and is ruled by Mars, and it symbolizes initiation, courage, and the primal spark of life, which happens in the spring, the beginning, when things spring forth into life. It is the initiation of our spiritual awakening. It is associated with the head and the brain, the seat of our consciousness, the gateway to higher understanding. This is the first Hermetic principle, the law of mentalism, all in the mind. The universe is mental because we know that everything begins in the mind. Consciousness is the only thing that has anything, does anything, or is anything, or can do or move anything. Everything begins in the mind. The mind is in the beginning, the first disciple. You are first called to devote to disciplining your mind. Peter was the first to declare his Christ consciousness, the God conscious mind in man, the awareness of being which that gives life. When all the other disciples didn't know who Jesus was, Peter spoke up and said, he was like, "You're Jesus," meaning he's us, you're us. And then it goes on to saying that Jesus questioned him. He's like, "Where did you hear that from?" Because he knew that he couldn't hear it from any kind of worldly mind. He knew that Peter had been listening to a different source. Aries governs the awakening of the spark of the divine will. Not your will, the divine will within you. A fire ever burning and can never be put out. The immortal flame. Peter's faith symbolizes a rock-solid foundation upon which spiritual knowing is built. This is the age of Aquarius. It is time to know. Knowing that your mind is a source of your power and you know what it is and you know what to do with it and how to use it. Because Peter's energy is about action, initiative, and standing firm in the face of adversity. In the physical realm, Peter stands on business. You ever met an Aries? They stand on business. This is a part where Peter steps out on the boat as he did in the Bible and taking risks in the face of the unknown because it knows the God in me ain't gonna drop me. So it takes action and it moves like it cannot fail. That's that Aries bold energy. This energy and this faculty in the mind is not moved by the opinions of others. It's deaf to the noise of the physical world. It only hears the word of God, the word of good, the higher self, the higher consciousness, because you understand that God is thought and the Lord is the law by which thought operates. And it's because you know how thought operates, you choose to hear and listen to only the good, because if you choose to hear and listen to the bad, your faithful servant of your subconscious mind will operate and give you bad, even if you unintentionally don't. But if you're just addicted to even thinking that, this is a faculty of the mind that knows this part of us, and so it seeks to detach from material things and it focuses on only to hear those spiritual truths. Because Peter eventually becomes Simon Peter, that of good hearing. This energy knows that when you develop and you can learn to develop good hearing, this energy also knows when to speak, but also when to remain silent. Because Aries know how to move in silence. This energy is also ruled by the planet Mars, and Mars is a symbol of vitality and transformation and the world for us to evolve. By understanding the spiritual and esoteric meanings, we can harness the energy of Mars to control our inner challenges and align with our higher purpose to fuel our personal and our spiritual growth. Mars is known as a planet of action, drive, ambition. It embodies the raw, initiating energy of Aries, the ability to take risk in the face of challenges. Mars is linked to the awakening of the Kundalini energy as well. Now on to the second disciple, Leo. the fire sign. Shout out to all the Leos. My firstborn is a Leo, and I love me some Leos. Also, my North Node is in Leo, so I definitely study the sign thoroughly. So this disciple, Thaddeus or Jude, Thaddeus of praise. Of course, Leo represents power and expression, baby. You ever met you a Leo? Look for somebody with the biggest hair and the boldest outfit in the crowd. They either a Leo or a Pisces. But Thaddeus was associated with praise and gratitude and the power of heartfelt devotion. It's the archetype that is the celebrating of the divine through creative expression and radiant joy. Leo governs the heart both as a physical organ and the center of the emotional and spiritual vitality that is also within you. Thaddeus reflects the heart's ability to connect with the divine through joy, creativity, and self-expression. And as we say here on the West Coast, little homie had heart. The regal, fiery energy ruled by the sun, which embodies creativity, self-expression, and the radiant power of the heart, is the center of vitality, love, feeling, and self-expression. Leos have such a generous and loving spirit. The role of this energy as a disciple is to spread the unique expression of the divine with love and gratitude. It reflects courage, the ability to openly express with faith, love, and devotion. Leo is praise. Praise and thanksgiving are extremely important when it comes to manifestation. Thanksgiving. Thanks for giving this, meaning something that you have already received. Every student of truth must understand that God always acts through us by changing our consciousness. All things come through us, not to us, which is why originally they wanted to persecute Jesus because he had the ability to cast out demons. And they said that the only way he could have did that was through Beelzebub. So he must have been using witchcraft. But they didn't understand their own shadow because they were the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And the Bible it's a book about the mind anyway. So it's really him but back to everything coming through us in terms of praise and understanding that God has given us this power and the ability to have praise and an expression of the divine through us. Because a seed has everything that it needs. It has all the fruit that it is ever going to make for every single season of its entire existence, with all the other seeds and the fruit and the branches and the leaves and the bark and the roots. So thank God for what you already have. You have access to it. You already have it. Creation is already finished. God gave it to you when you were just a little seed. You could have been just a spot on the bed. I mean, we all learn in divine metaphysics that God never does anything for us, but always through us. Our very present help in trouble in Psalms 21. There's people be praying God for stuff. Like, God ain't gonna give you nothing. He already gave it to you. Stop looking for anything outside of self. God has already given it to you. Not in the sky. Don't be asking for some God in the sky. In you, because nothing can separate you from the love of God, which is the highest frequency that there is love. Not death nor life, nothing, not even hell itself, which is the lowest frequency. What is that in Romans 8:38? Nothing can separate you from God. God got you all the time, every day. So we have to act, we have to feel and think and act like we know. We gotta act like a Leo. Stop asking for help and already know that you got it. And remember the story of Jacob and Esau, where because the father gifted the son, the hairy son, and then Jacob put on the coat and everybody thought that he was being shady. But remember, the Bible was a book about the mind. So Jacob stands for the soul that is not yet redeemed. Let me say that again. Jacob stands for the soul that is not yet redeemed. The soul that is still struggling to find difficulty and consciousness and perfection. A soul that hasn't even realized its own divine nature yet. And then the scripture later on goes to say, Israel, the prince of God. Israel is those who know the unseen laws. So once you know the unseen laws, then you become what? The sun is Leo's ruler. It symbolizes the divine light, with each individual as a disciple, highlighting the importance of the radiating light through acts of devotion and celebrating within your mind. It is a celestial body that gives life, light ruling over our ego and our conscious sense of self, creativity, life force, joy, confidence, self-direction, and pride. In astrology, the sun represents your life's purpose, your outward expression, and how and why you make the decisions that you do. The sun doesn't look for permission either. It doesn't look for acknowledgement or recognition. It shines. It just does. It's just being. I'm just out here. I'm just shining, whether you like it or not. So understand this energy that you are the light. Just be it. Just shine. I have a question for you. How do you express your divine purpose with every fiber and every ounce of your being? How do you express that? Tap into your inner Leo and express yourself. Now on to Andrew, the disciple, which is our third fire sign, which is Sagittarius, Sag, the pituitary gland, the power of strength and courage. You know, the Sagittarius is the arching with the bow, the courage to keep going and aiming. Andrew, the disciple whose name means brave or courageous, embodies the adventurous and the truth-seeking spirit. And you know, Sagittarius is they always on the go. He was the first to bring others to Jesus in his Christ consciousness, symbolizing the archer's aim towards higher knowledge and divine connection. He's like, hey, there's a mark. Everybody, come on, let's go. We got to get to that. That's where we aim into. It is ruled by Jupiter, the sign of exploration, wisdom, and the quest for truth, embodying the quest for wisdom and expression and higher understanding. It is associated with the pituitary gland. This gland is often linked to your third eye. It is a willingness to step into the unknown and explore new territories. It's optimism. It's a quest for seeking of knowledge, which is being a seeker of the divine truth and always seeking, always expressing, always moving. This energy is always moving, always loving to travel. That is the part of our gland. This is that system that is just constantly expressing. This is a strong system. This energy also represents strength, the power and the precision, those horse legs, that horsepower to aim at the good, the strength to tell your mind what to think, the strength to tell your feelings how to feel, and the strength to tell your body how to act. This is such an important discipline to have, because saying and feeling what you want changes your frequency. And when you aim and you draw back, it draws it in like a magnetic force that brings to you what you want in your life. What is it in Luke 10:19? Behold, I give you power. You were given power, love, and a sound mind, with all 12 disciples and 12 faculties, able to discipline. Say this to yourself. Within me lies the infinite power of God. Within me lies the infinite power of God. You have the power. God already gave it to you. So that when the enemy comes through like a flood, you have the power to access that power. You have the power to change those enemy thoughts. And to say, I have the infinite power of God within me. Some are like, well, what are you trying to say? You trying to say that I'm God? Well, a branch knows that it's a part of the tree. I know that I am a branch. I know that I am connected to the tree, and I know that I have access to all the nutrients and all the power that is being given to that tree within that trunk. I know that if I'm cut off and separated from that, then I will die because I'm just a branch. But guess what? Nothing can cut me off and separate me from my tree. Sagittarius energy also represents the journey of the soul towards enlightenment. Andrew's courage reflects the archer's fearless pursuit of truth, aligning with the pituitary's gland role in being a bridge between the physical and the spiritual realms. The rainbow bridge activated, bridging the conscious and the subconscious mind. Most people spend their entire lives searching for power, for permission, for validation. They believe that their desire must be achieved through hard work, through struggle, through external forces, somebody else's control. When you declare and know and feel that you are the power, that you have access to the power, you are acknowledging God's existence within you. And it's time that we all recognize who we are. Most people have it ass backwards, and you shouldn't do anything half ass, as my grandmother would say. Most people feel like, oh, once I get this or once I achieve this, then I'll feel like this. No, you have the power, so you must feel the power. Power must be felt, it must be lived. It's already yours. You gonna step up and claim it? God gave it to you before you were even manifested into the flesh outside your mama's womb. Every hair in your head, God imagined you within this life to have living. You have to practice and study thyself approved. You have to connect and have a direct connection and relationship with the 12 faculties and the power within your mind. No one else can think for you. No one else can feel for you but you. So it's time that we take back and claim our power. This is that fire. I hope y'all all enjoyed the fire signs. Please make sure you like and subscribe and share my videos with a friend. We've done earth, water, fire. Now next up is the 3 air signs. So please keep your notifications on because I'm going to be coming at it strong.